hydraulic fracturing is it's not something new, or fracking as it is called. It's been around for better parts of 30 years. It's been refined, improved, and only now, well, now meaning only in the last 2 or 3 years, has the United States seen some really tangible results, and it's completely altered the wider market's dynamic. And the reason for that is that the US market started to look at itself and say, well, we need to see an uptick in domestic production. At the same point in time, fracking came on the scene. We're talking about the mid-80s, and then the process was slowly refined, developed. It was a long, hard slog. It took better parts of 3 decades for this fracking bonanza, the revolution that we heard in the popular press, to emerge. And it's also for that same reason we can't replicate it overnight in Europe. Now, what did the US had going for it? Well, first of all, population density in the United States is considerably less than it is in the EU. They also had the legislative framework which sort of promoted fracking, as it were. There were fewer environmental impediments sort of built into the legislative framework. And of course, the US network of gas pipelines and oil pipelines is vastly superior to what exists in Europe. So what that happens is that encouraged some of these independent upstarts, these wildcatters, to go out there and prospect for oil in innovative ways, hydraulic fracturing being one of those, because they knew that there was an infrastructure in place for them to get the product to market. Those conditions don't exist in the EU. Well, at least not to the extent that it does in the States. Now, the US had this long march towards sort of developing fracking and improving it and constantly improving the techniques, making the process more efficient. And the results are here. Lo and behold, the United States is now technically in a position to export oil. If there are some legislative impediments, they can't export crude oil. They can export distillates. They will be exporting gas to various markets, including the UK. But it's just turned, the whole situation completely turned on its head in a short space of 5 or 6 years. But a lot of people don't contextualize it appropriately. It was a long, hard road, and now they're reaping the benefits. What we are seeing here, a lot of what we are hearing in Europe, in the UK, that we'll have our own shale revolution. Yes, it'll happen, but it's not happening tomorrow. It's not happening next year. It's not going to happen the first meaningful sort of shale gas that we can hope to expect would be in 5 to 8 years' time, and it won't be in a quantity that would sort of reduce our reliance, as it were, on the sources that we have at the present moment in time. And look ahead to the next 10 years, hoping that the shale revolution in Europe would have taken off meaningfully. All it will do is sort of balance our demand as consumers at that point in time. It will not, it won't be a real terms increase, in my opinion. We all might be pleasantly surprised in 2025, but that's how I view it, and that's how a lot of companies currently view that. Now, there's also one more thing, and I explored it in great detail. A lot of the American players came onto the scene, came to Europe saying, we'll frack in Poland, we'll frack in England, we'll give it a go in various parts of Europe. And what they found out to their cost was that Mother Nature has played a bit of a trick. The US geology and the European geology, and as a matter of fact, even mainland Europe and the UK, the geology is very different. So a fracking prospection well, something which the very initial sort of drill bit going into the ground costs twice as much in Europe than it does in the US. So we're looking at perhaps around $20 million just to poke a hole in the ground to get things going, see if there's something viable in there before the sort of real heavy equipment arrives. So these are the challenges that we face. So people have to realize that the United States didn't get here overnight. It was a long, hard slog. But what I'm seeing in popular discourse is that there is that realization is not there. We just want it instantly. The politicians want it. Well, some of the public want it, some don't. Some are still have big misgivings about the environmental impact and things associated with it. And there's an ongoing debate. So we will not get there overnight, but people like you to think that we could.